lounging, son.
Well, welcome back to the Comic Lounge podcast. I'm Ryan, your host for today, with my co-host, as always, Dylan. And today we are going to be talking about King of Black 5, the conclusion to this fucking massive Venom event, Green Lantern #1, and Geiger #1. But anyway, so we were going to talk about Nocterra 2 and Swamp Thing 2. We loved the first issues, and I gotta say the second issues were even better than the first. Yeah. Nocterra is I really love what Snyder is doing with the series. I think you're gonna love the issue when you get to it. And
just expect a DM. You're like, you already know.
Yeah, and then like Tony Daniel's art. Like I even told Snyder when I talked to him, I was like, this is not me trying to throw any shade at Tony Daniel, but this is the best his work has ever been. And he's like, he literally told me, he's like, no, Tony will tell you the same thing. This is his best work, and he's putting everything into it.
And this is what's deceiving. This is what it is about that I have to actually talk people into Nocterra when it first came out. It's because you look at the cover, right? The cover A of Nocterra, and it straight up looks like a 90s Image comic, right? And people literally ask me, Dylan, is this good? Like with a look on their face, like they have 90s PTSD too, right? Where they look at it, it's like, the fuck is this Witchblade without the Witchblade? Like, right? And then then they come back the next week. It's like, yo, Nocterra was awesome. Like, yeah, it was good, dude. Like, yeah, totally deceiving. So I just had to point that out there because it was really funny because people would literally look at it and say, like, this gave me that look, and I just knew what that look was. But this is Tony Daniel's best stuff.
The coloring.
Yeah.
Tomei Mori is just this whole fucking book. I really loved the second issue. The first issue was really good, and the world building was cool. But you start to learn a little bit more about Val and Emery and the Blacktop Bill, the fucking basically the bad guy, and he's, oh my god, dude, it's really dope. I think I was thinking about what I was talking about with Snyder, so that was in my head, but. He's got his whole shit planned out. As of our recording, the interview's going up today. But
oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm really digging this series. I hope that the sales allow him to expand past what he has, the minimum he has planned. And I think it will.
How many issues is he thinking?
25. He has.
Okay.
But he said there's room within the middle of it to kind of explore some other characters. I think that would be cool to do because what he did with American Vampire, he did similar where
I read the first volume of American Vampire just recently.
For the first time?
For the first time.
Oh wow, dude! It's really good.
I had no idea. I knew it was Scott Snyder, right? But I had no idea that the secondary story was a Stephen King story. I didn't.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you gotta read the whole.
Because when you hear American Vampire, people never really mention I don't know. I don't know if this is the people around me, but no one ever says, "Oh, Stephen King and Scott Snyder," or "Scott Snyder and Stephen King." It says, "Oh no, Scott Snyder's American Vampire." What? How you?
I mean that was the I picked up American Vampire #1 off the shelves.
Yeah.
Because I saw Stephen King's name on it. I didn't know who Scott Snyder was. He wasn't. I don't even know. Maybe he was writing Batman. I feel like he might have been writing Detective. I don't know. I'd have to look at the dates. But I saw Stephen King, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna pick that up. And I'm like, holy shit, this is a dope book. And I bought the whole first arc in single issues. And I've often talked about my dark times. So I had the first arc, and then I went away for a little while. So I didn't get the next few issues. And I have all the hardcovers. It's a great series. I've often said that he's at his best when he's writing horror. I think that's his sweet spot. But Nocterra is mixing that with this kind of action bombastic stuff from superhero stuff, sci-fi, and I know I can't dive too deep into it. But Nocterra, anybody that's on the fence about it, go fucking pick up the first issue. It's still out there. They have a second print, which has a beautiful fucking cover. By the way, the coloring on that is insane. And
I don't mind picking up second really prints. The second prints of stuff lately have been really good. For
the art,
the Ninja Turtle, Like the Ninja Turtles, Last Ronin, Second Prince, and Third Prince have been really awesome. Like, yo, second print of issue 2, how dope was that sigh in the water?
Dude,
it's a sigh in the water.
I have the A covers, I have the Second Prince, and I have the retailer incentives for Last Ronin. And if Jen's listening to this, she'd probably fucking judge me because I told her I don't like buying variants, but it's Ninja Turtles. I can't, like, that's just me collecting. That's not me because I'm like, eventually I would like to fucking be able to have like something where I could frame them and just like, because they're all really good and I love the Ninja Turtles. But anyways, so, and then again, you know, like, I know you didn't read it, but Swamp Thing, fuck, dude. Ron V, Mike Perkins, Mike Spice on colors, like, I am here for this, dude. This is like, and the villain that they have, the fucking the Pale Wanderer.
Yeah.
It's just so creepy, and it's Levi is becoming a really interesting character. He's getting a little bit more fleshed out and stuff, and oh, dude, yeah, fucking really good, really good.
Okay.
That one I can't get too much more into because, like, but again, you know, I guess
you have to experience Swamp Thing.
You have to experience Swamp Thing. Anybody listening or watching, again, like much like I said with Nocterra, this one people may not be as on the fence about because people know who Swamp Thing is. It's a character that has been around, even though we have a new avatar of the Green. Like, Swamp Thing has been there, right? Nocterra is a completely new concept, so I could see why, you know, maybe you're a little bit more trepidatious on getting that one. But this is a
trepidatious bars.
Yeah, I had to drop that $5 word, bro.
Hey, bro, no.
But Swamp Thing, fucking really dope. Nocterra, you know, please go support those books, dude. Like, first of all, Nocterra's creator-owned, so I'm all about supporting creator-owned titles, even though it is you know, these are creators that have been around for a long time. And then Ron V, come on, dude, Swamp Thing. Yeah. I love Swampy. That's why I posted a video. I posted a video this week of a fucking Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson Swamp Thing issue. And,
yeah.
You know, so
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and I got another video that I'm going to be recording this week. It's one of my favorite issues from the Alan Moore, Stephen Bissett, John Tottleman run. So I just read that issue. The issue where Abby eats the fruit.
Oh, the plant sex scene.
Yeah.
It's not even plant sex.
It's so much better in the single issue. Yeah. It's so much better reading it in its original coloring and in the newspaper. And I was like, those are the two other, you know, books I wanted to mention with you to kind of like give an extra shout out. Let's dive deep into the books. What do you want to start with first?
Let's start off with Green Lantern.
What did you think of it?
I loved it.
I know you're probably like me. You're probably like me, and you hold the Jeff Johns Green Lantern in high regard, right?
Yes. So. Okay. Look, and with this, it's the whole core, right? And I love comics with the whole core because there's just so much personality and so much life in almost everything that the core itself does, and that's not because it's like, oh, they're the Green Lanterns, but like, this is like, there's just so much life in it. So much life and so much personality. And like, you see every character play their role perfectly, right? Everybody in the Green Lantern Corps, whenever they click up or whenever they're in a comic together, everybody plays their role perfectly. And like, I think that Jeff Johns did an excellent job at that. And Jeffrey Thorne is doing a great job of it here.
Yeah, and then Dexter Soy, Marco Santucci on art, Alex Sinclair colors, Rob Lay letters. I just forgot to throw that out there. But yeah, Jeffrey Thorne, he came out strong. I liked the Future State stuff. To me, it was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, because it was like so different than anything I was expecting. So I'm like, okay, like, this is interesting, but like, it didn't give me enough. Definitely, I was more intrigued about this book after talking to him. But this issue didn't disappoint. I read some reviews that weren't as they didn't like it as much, which I don't know what the fuck you want in a book. But that's besides the point. I think that this is a cool little entry point into the Green Lantern lore for people that may not be as familiar. We're seeing like the new concepts of like the United Planets and where the Green Lantern Corps falls in line with that, and how some planets don't even want Oa to be a part of it. Like, Yeah.
I love that. I love that the chickens are kind of coming home to roost for the Guardians, right? And for Oa, right? Because, you know, I mean, with the current there was at a certain point in our American history where we revered and respected police officers, right? But then something happens, or a series of crap on the shit boat that is life right now in 2021, that, you know, like all this, it's all happened, it's all come to a head, and now it's like, you know, across the board it's 50-50. Like, you either hate the cops or you love them. And like,
I mean, now we got cameras, now we got people with smartphones, now we got people filming everything.
Exactly.
So now we're seeing stuff that probably was, well, not probably, it was already happening. It's just now it's more in the public conscious. So
yeah,
but
and
yeah,
then, you know, with like, you know, with all the planets coming together and all the races, even though they fucking hate each other, there's still like, they can still find unity in something together, and that's saying fuck you, Oa, fuck you, Green Lanterns, and fuck you, little blue guys. We hate you. Get the fuck out. You freaking you set the first lantern on us. You fucking set the manhunters on us. The third wave, the what was it? The third army on us. Like, you guys fucked up. Like, there's no way.
Yeah,
we're gonna let you think. And then this is some excellent, well written stuff. And can I just say, I love my little nugget Kelly so much. Like, she's literally Dora the Explorer with the freaking Green Lantern ring.
I love that she's like, they call her Kid Lantern, and she's like teen. Lantern.
Yeah,
but she's not even a teen, because she's 11 years old. So like, the fact that she has to like drive that home, like, don't call me Kid Lantern. Like, dude, you're not even a teenager. But I liked her character, like, the brief moments we got with her in Young Justice by Bendis, and then later David Walker co-wrote the last arc. So I like that they brought her in. I think we talked about it in the Infinite Frontier, where she's like floating and getting all the information and the history of Lantern lore. So like, that was cool. I like that Simon's back. You know, it's interesting because Jeffrey Thorne got a lot of flack for an old tweet that he put about how he hates Hal Jordan. And Bleeding Cool put an article about it. New Green Lantern writer hates Hal Jordan. You know, and it's like, well, dude, whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
it's literally a whole ass core. Anybody can like anyone. I'll be honest here. I'm not a fan of Kyle Rayner.
Yeah, and I love Kyle Rayner. So,
and that's okay.
I mean, and that's fine. And like, so people were talking shit to him, like, oh, how are you gonna let this guy who hates Hal Jordan be the Green Lantern writer? And then you got some people like, oh yeah, kill him. You know, like, kill Hal Jordan off, because they don't like Hal Jordan. It's like, and he's like, no, I'm not gonna fucking do that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like Hal Jordan, but doesn't mean like that. First of all, DC wouldn't let him do it anyways, right? But it's fine. Let Jon Stewart be the main guy. I don't care. I mean, for a lot of people, he is their Green Lantern. You know, like, for me, it goes Kyle and then John. Kyle because I grew up with Kyle Rayner, and then Jon Stewart because like, he was in the Justice League for a lot of my reading, right? Once Kyle Rayner was out. And then, like, the Justice League cartoon.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people, like, latch on to Jon Stewart. I think he's a more interesting character by far than Hal Jordan. Way more interesting character. Hal Jordan, like, he was cool because of what Jeff Johns did, but still, like, there's just not enough meat on the bones for me. You know what I mean? Like, Jon Stewart's got more fucking angst. He's got more, like, reason to do what he does. He's got, like, all this fucking shit that he did and how he has to deal with that for destroying a fucking planet. Yeah. So, like, you know, like, I'm glad that he's the main guy in here. I'm glad that Simon's here. I thought, you know what else was interesting, too, is, like, so they're the representatives of Earth, right? But what he's wearing kind of has a throwback to Krypton. Like, it kind of, like, you know, like that sash on the side of his robes or whatever.
The costume design in this is awesome. I love it.
And then, like, the panel where they're, like, all voting, like, that reminded me of Star Wars, you know, like, of the Republic, so that was kind of cool. But you see, like, that they're even torn. Some of the people, as they're voting, are like, oh, where are we? Like, some are voting to bring them in, some are denying them. Who comes in and fucking just shits all over them but fucking Sinestro? Like, that That little speech, that little monologue that he does, I was like, dude, that's like
they are a core of fear. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. But you know what I like? Okay, so before that happens, so Callie, she's a Thangarian, right? She comes and she's talking to a hologram of John and no, I'm sorry, a hologram of Hal talking to John, and they're just having a conversation, just giving an update on what's going on with the Guardians and themselves, right? She flies in and she's like, "Oh, you guys fear that this change will not include you," and then Hal was like, "Fear? I think you what? No." And John's like, "I think I was confused with another Lantern Corps. Like that's not us." I'm like, and it's like, and I love that. I love the fact that the greatest Lanterns have all been from Earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
The greatest Lanterns have all been from Earth.
I mean, except Sinestro. He was the greatest Lantern, but then he turned on them. Exactly. But he was considered the greatest Lantern for a very long time.
Yeah, but we have Section 2814, and Section 284 ain't nothing to fuck with, because it ain't nothing to fuck with. Like, bro, we'll fucking okay, anyway.
14 ain't nothing to fuck with. Yeah.
2814 ain't nothing to fuck with. Do you say 2814 or do you say 2814?
No, but it wouldn't have sounded right if I said 2814 ain't nothing.
Okay, because I feel like that's how the Lantern, whatever, like the ring, whatever the voice is when they're scanning something, or Lantern of Sector 2814, you have been chosen, you have been seen to overcome great fear. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I agree. Yeah.
There's this dope splash. It's not really a splash page, but it's like a page scene where Simon is it Simon? Yeah, Simon is giving John the rundown on Kelly's training, and it's like, so the kid is the 11-year-old was good for the first 3 rounds. The IQ stuff, the psych stuff, she killed on the physical exam, but then they tried to take her glove off.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm like, I really want to learn more because we didn't get any history of her, and like we know she hacked this ring, right?
Yeah.
But like the Guardians don't even know where she got it. It's not the gauntlet. It looks like Krona's gauntlet. So that's like what I hope we get to see more of fleshed out over this arc. I hope it doesn't take too long to kind of get to that, because like I want to know, like, how did this fucking little girl get this technology? And the Guardians can't even figure this out, So like that's pretty cool. And then like at the end, as Oa is inducted into the United Planets, like that final page, dude. Just boom, taken out. So he's killing a Guardian, kills a Guardian. That's how Jeffrey Thorne starts his first arc. I also want like this. There's this other dude, like the Source of Peace. Like, I don't know who this guy is, talking to John a few pages before, we close the book. Yeah. I think it's a solid start. I like that we're getting to see more Simon Baz. We're getting to see Teen Lantern. I love Kelly. And, of course, I'm really glad to see John Stewart as, like, the lead of the book again. You know?
I love it. I feel it's like I'm getting hints of Lantern Incorporation that we haven't seen since Jeff Johns' run. And like I said, I love the Lanterns. I love the fact that there's a Green Lantern Corps series coming out, because I would love for everybody to see more of the Lanterns themselves. Like, there was that anime the CGI animated Green Lantern series, but I mean.
Oh, you're talking about a TV show, Green Lantern Corps.
The TV show, yeah.
Okay, I was like, did I not see this announcement for the comic? But okay, yeah, the show I'm aware of.
The show, the show. And I feel like being like having the Green Lantern brought to like the more of the forefront of the media, the Corps itself. I feel like there's a core member for everybody. There's a core member for everybody. Whether you like calling people poozers or you like being kind of like Salaki and just friggin' very observant and critical. But I really love the Green Lanterns, and Grant Morrison, your run was cool, bro. It was cool. Like, there was a lot of strange ass lanterns in that. But I feel like this is the kind of book that I was waiting for.
Yeah, I mean, and don't, like, not to take anything away from Grant Morrison's, like, that was cool, with Hal Jordan, but like, this is the type of Green Lantern book that, I mean, they still could have even had this coming out at the same time.
Yeah,
as the one with Hal Jordan. They could have had a Green Lantern Corps book like similar to this, and that would have been dope. I'm here for this book. I like it, and I can't wait to see what else. I mean, what do you say? Issue 3? Issue 3 something is going to happen, and I'm supposed to talk to Jeffrey Thorne again after that. He said, you're going to want to talk to me. And I'm like, please don't kill Kyle. So I was like, please just don't kill Kyle. Kill other people, but leave him alone, please.
Else.
You know?
Kill anybody. It's like, what else could you possibly do? Are you destroy the power battery?
All the core members, he said, just realize that all the core members are in one place. So I don't know what that means. I don't know. I'm just, I think a lot of people are going to die. That's my assumption, but I could be wrong. But,
and then wait. And like, they were talking about, there's a couple reds here. And I was like, I like, it's probably Bleez and Dexstar, right? That's what I thought in my head. It's probably Bleez and Dexstar. And then there goes a panel, like when the attack happens, it's literally Bleez and Dexstar. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I mean, those are the two best known Red Lanterns besides Atrocitus. So
yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Bleez and let's talk about King in Black. I read Venom and King in Black back to back, so I felt like
I read it in the wrong order, and I was so pissed because like I was trying not to spoil the book, so I didn't want to flip through. And I read fucking Venom after I read King in Black. I'm like, this is horrible. This is so stupid.
This is horrible. I hate this.
Yeah, I was like, I don't even want to read this comic now.
He's like, hurry up, yes.
Let me read the fucking credits. Okay, so we got Donny Cates as a writer, Ryan Stegman, penciler, J.P. Mayer, Ryan Stegman, inkers, Frank Martin, Jason Keith are the colorists, and Clayton Cowles is the letterer. This is the conclusion to Donny Cates' massive Venom event. It ties in with Silver Surfer Black. It ties in a little bit with his Thor run. And then we only have one more issue of Venom to come from this creative team, and they're done. And I have not seen another Venom book announced. So I don't know what that means for the character. I mean, we'll talk about the conclusion of this. I will say this. I did not think that it started off as good as Absolute Carnage did. I thought Absolute Carnage #1 was a way better issue than King in Black #1 was.
I remember we talking about this.
And then it fucking didn't stick the landing at all for me. I thought Absolute Carnage, like the ending was just like, I could have done without this. This could have just been an arc in Venom, is how I felt. It didn't need to be an event. King in Black obviously deserved more of the event aspect of it, I think.
But not as much as it got.
And I think that whereas Absolute Carnage started off strong and didn't end strong, this was the opposite. King in Black ended stronger for me than it started. I liked it. I mean, I think Ryan Stegman's art is just continuously getting better and better as I see him going, So, for anybody that hasn't read King in Black, I mean, I guess if you haven't read it, then you probably are going to skip forward to, like, the next book we talk about. But King in Black, right, Null comes to fucking take over the planet. He's the king of the symbiotes. He fought Silver Surfer and Silver Surfer Black at the beginning of time, right? So, like, there's all this shit going on and coming to a head. All the symbiotes took over a lot of the heroes. They're now free of that control of Null. And Eddie died, but he gets brought back, right?
There's a lot of falling throughout this whole... a lot of falling.
There was a fucking issue of Venom that I fucking, like... He literally falls for 22 pages. Come on, bro. Like, I want to see a little bit more. You know what I mean? How long does it take to fall? That's what I was thinking in that Venom issue. But this one, like, they're teasing the God of Light, right, to fight the God of Dark. And we learned that it's the Captain Universe energy, right? Which is, in and of itself, a symbiote.
Yeah.
And it can, like, attach itself to different people. Like, multiple characters in the Marvel Universe have had the power of Captain Universe. And even though Eddie dies, he's within the Codex, right? And, like, he's with Flash Thompson and, like, all that shit. Like, that's why I was kind of pissed that I read it out of order. I mean, I knew what happened in the last issues of Venom. But anyways, I do think it's interesting that, Eddie is the one that gets this power and he gets brought back to life. The cool part for me, though, was how he took Silver Surfer's board,
Yeah.
and he took Mjolnir from Thor, mashed it together, and had a fucking big ass axe.
Yeah.
Like that, I don't know. Like you could say like, oh, that's just like, oh, it's just like there. It's just a fun like action. There's nothing like super like thought provoking about it. But dude, I don't care. This was a dope comic. I really had fun.
This is a summer blockbuster to me. So like a lot of the moments, like okay, this wasn't as impactful, but like, you know, when I saw Mjolnir and the board go to him, it was kind of like that moment in Endgame where you find out that it's Captain America picking up the hammer, right? And then when you see Eddie like holding both, I'm like, yo, let's go. Let's fucking go. And then I love his Captain Universe Venom design, because it's literally the same thing, but except in the darkness of the symbiote himself, you can see constellations. That shit was cool. I really liked King in Black. I liked King in Black more than I thought I did. It literally inspired me to catch up with the entire Venom series, right? As King in Black was happening. Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman really did a fantastic job. And throughout, you see Stegman's art get better because he starts getting more comfortable with the characters, getting more comfortable with how like crazy and bombastic he can be. And there's scenes in here where it's like that Captain Universe freaking Null fight scene.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh. Dude, there's like, I mean, it's not gory because this isn't blood, but like you just see like him fucking slashing at Null, you see him ripping this shit, and he's fucking just, oh dude, it gets a little bloody, but he's like slashing down all the fucking different symbiotes with that massive axe. The Celestial that had the symbiote fucking just lops the fucking head off. I mean, like I said, I had a lot of fun reading the book. I can be kind of critical of Donny Cates and his work. You know, like his Thor run, I think I'm the most critical of. I think Venom, for the most part, I don't think I've ever said I didn't like his Venom run. I think the Venom run is my favorite between the two. But that's because Jason Aaron's Thor is like very precious to me, and how I think that.
I mean, Jason Aaron's Thor and his baby, okay, his precious cargo, it is baby.
Yeah. So like, I kind of almost wish we didn't have a Thor book for like a year, you know, following Jason Aaron's. I would have been fine with that if they're like, you know, we're gonna let him sit for a second. He'll be in Avengers, but we're not gonna have an ongoing. We're gonna just like let Jason Aaron, who writes Avengers, you know, kind of write Thor there, and that's it. But whatever, we have a Thor ongoing, and that's besides the point. I don't know why I'm even bringing it up, but I do want to say that, again, I don't like all the tie-ins. That's another thing that really pisses. I'm not saying that's Donny Cates. That's not his fault. That's Marvel as a publisher that chooses to make all these tie-ins. But this is an event like much like Absolute Carnage. You don't need to read the tie-ins. You can get all the story here. Even me not reading the Venom issue in order and fucking reading it later, it's you know, like, I still knew what the fuck was happening. I think that watching the growth, and now that you're caught up on Venom, I think you can say it too. Watching the growth of Eddie Brock.
Yeah, wow.
For the longest time was just, first of all, he started off as a villain, right? Then he was kind of an anti-hero, but still kind of not, kind of a douchebag. But like, you care about Eddie now. Eddie is like so humanized, and he's a more interesting character after Donny Cates has had his run with him, as opposed to what he was before. I didn't care about Venom. I didn't care about Eddie Brock at all. And now he's like I wouldn't say he's like one of my favorite characters, but he's a character that I'm interested in. And if there's another book that comes out by another creative team, I'll probably check it out now because of how I feel about the character from this.
I feel like going forward, we're gonna see some great stuff come out of Eddie Brock, right? Like, my experience with Venom is like, I think people loved him because mainly because of his costume and how badass he was, and like, you know what I mean. Especially like casual fans. I don't like calling people casual fans. I feel like that's kind of like a superiority complex. But like, you know what I mean.
That's what Mario. That's what Mario calls them. Calls them filthy casuals.
Filthy casuals. Yeah, stupid casuals.
I mean, like, you don't know. I get it. I don't like saying that either, casual fans, but I think it's like, funny with Mark.
If you're a fan, you're a fan. Like, it doesn't matter. But like, when I say casual fans, I'm talking about like people who put Punisher stickers on their car and have never read the Punisher. like you know what I mean? People who put Venom stickers on the car and don't know shit about Venom.
People that pick up like an X-Men shirt from Target, they're like, I like comics.
Yeah.
Like, who's that on your shirt? I don't know. It's a cool shirt though. Oh, you fucking casual. Yeah.
It's like whenever I see someone wearing a Wu-Tang shirt, I ask them, name 2 Wu-Tang songs that isn't Cream or Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. I'll wait.
Triumph is still one of my all-time favorite hip hop songs.
Right, Triumph. I mean, like Mystery of Chess Boxing, Shadow Boxing, friggin' like Hell's Windstaff. Like I can go on, but anyway, but you know what I mean. Like for casual fans of Venom, I feel like they kind of ruined Venom for me. And like I mean, Lethal Protector was like I think was the last like whole ass series that I read from Venom. I loved it. Don't get me wrong, but then like from then on, it was like, oh, it's Eddie. Oh, Eddie Brock. Oh, Venom. Like, you know what I mean?
The last one that I read was the Daniel Way Venom. And that was coming out. That was a part of that line of books with the Human Torch by Scotty Young, Runaways. It was called like Marvel Tsunami, I think is what they called it. So they kind of leaned more into like a manga style. And so that one was good, but I haven't read Venom since. And I couldn't even tell you what happened in that Daniel Way series because I haven't read it since high school. Like that was the last time I read it.
But I remember like this was in the comic lounge in the chat we had, and this was like right before a Venom issue came out. I literally said, "Does anybody even care about Venom?" Like, and I remember you were like, "Yeah, I care." Like I'm like, I remember how defensive you got because like damn, because like I think that was like right in the early stages of Cates' run. I was like, Dylan, you gotta read it. You have to read it. You have to fucking read it. That moment like stuck in my head, and I don't regret you ever doing it because Eddie Brock is awesome now. You know, the depth, the layers, like in 35 issues and an event and 2 events, like he's like really Johnny Case has really done an excellent job portraying this new Eddie Brock. I care about this Eddie Brock. You know what I mean? I believe in this Eddie Brock. I believe in what he becomes. I was about to say it as I believe in what he becomes. I believe this is going to be good. This is going to be good for him and for his adventures coming through because where does he go from now? He can go cosmic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, like this is the Donny Cates that I wish I got more of. Is that I don't think he's a bad. I've never thought he was a bad writer. I know that I've been critical sometimes of like some of the stuff that he does. Right?
He's not a bad writer.
But
I'm the same.
But lean more into those quiet moments, man, with the characters because when you do write, when he has written those with Eddie Brock, like that's the reason that I like the book. It's not all the action and the fighting. Like that's cool. Those moments, especially the early issues with Eddie and like when he goes to see his dad, right? And then he learns that he's the father. Like that is the stuff that that's what got me to like the book and that's what kept me reading it. But I felt like it I don't want to say it leaned more away from it, but it didn't have that same feeling that it did in the earlier ones. I did like, and we got moments of it in here, but not as like, I kind of wish we would have even got a little bit more. Like we got a little bit of the moments in the Venom and the ongoing, but to me, they didn't resonate with me as much as the earlier moments that Eddie would have with like his son. And I feel like Absolute Carnage, like in that first issue, like we got a lot of that where he's talking with Peter, right? Or when he's talking to Dylan. I do think it ended strong. I like it. Spoiler alert, I'm about to say what happens at the end. If you don't want to hear it, turn this off or skip ahead like a few minutes. And there you go. So yeah, he's the god of light. He is now the king in black. That is how they refer to him. He is the king of the symbiotes. He fucking kills Null. Null's gone. There is no more. But when it goes into fucking Dylan, the evil, and then he has to take that out of Dylan. Oh, I mean, I don't even know what I don't know what Donny Cates is gonna do with the issue 200, which is Venom 35 for anybody. They're renumbering it to 200 for the final issue, but there's a lot that could be explored with this. I hope that some other creators are going to take over and do a new Venom book. I haven't seen anything solicited past issue 200, so maybe they're gonna kind of shelf it for a little while, but
which they should. This is prime example of taking time on things and not.
I mean, they didn't. Yeah, but they didn't do it with Jason Aaron's Thor. There were 7 years of Thor, and they could have taken a little bit of a break, and they didn't. Venom's only been around for 4.
But we're talking one of the big 3 here. You know what I mean?
Like, I mean, Thor was dead for a while. Yeah, Thor didn't have a book for a long time, and then J. Michael Straczynski took over. So they killed Thor in Ragnarok after Avengers Disassembled. There was no Thor book for a while. So they could have done it. They didn't.
They could have.
Don't you remember in Civil War when they had a Thor fucking?
Oh yeah, they had the robot Thor. Yeah.
And then Thor comes back to life, and then he's pissed. He's fucking furious. So like they could have taken a break with Thor, but whatever. Venom. I hope they don't take too long of a break, because I think you should, because Venom is not as, let's say, big of a character. You should kind of keep the momentum in the fandom going, because you could maybe potentially lose some fans on board with the book. Like, Venom's a good seller, so I think they should keep it going. But either way, Venom is a good seller. It was a dope book, dope ending. Very excited to read the conclusion. I think we'll probably talk about Venom 200 that week that it comes out.
Oh yeah, I'm down. I'm super down.
Let's talk Geiger.
Let's talk Geiger.
I love this book. I love this book.
How do you describe this?
Jeff Johns, Gary Frank, Brad Anderson, creative team.
Yeah.
So, same creative team that did Doomsday Clock. If you liked it or you didn't like Doomsday Clock, this is a great creative team. They have a great working chemistry. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I think this is a solid team, and I had no idea what to expect with this book. If I didn't see the variant covers, I wouldn't have known that there was a guy that had nuclear fucking powers.
Same.
You know what I mean? So,
same. Exact same. I had no idea what Geiger was about. I just saw cover A, right? Yeah. I'm like, someone hit the button. And like, that's all I got from it. Right? And, it's funny because his last name is Geiger. A Geiger counter, it's like, I'm supposed to test for like radiation, right? So, right. But anyway, it starts out, it's very Western-y, right? It has kind of like Western vibes to it.
Post-apocalyptic Western is like how I would describe it.
I was saying it's like post it's like Fallout meets like an old horror, like old Wild West horror show. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So someone hit the button. The world's gone to shit. It's finally happened. We don't really say who. They kind of allude to like they don't know who started it either, because there's like new, like in the flashback scenes, like before they start talking about the main character, like there's like news reports going on. It's like it's hard to tell who started it. It's already happened, and then the emergency broadcast stuff comes on, and we meet our guy. What's his name?
Tariq.
Huh?
Tariq.
Yeah, Tariq Geiger.
And right? This is only 9 years in the future. It's not it's not that far off. Which, I mean, I'm not saying that this could happen, but it's not out of the realm of possibilities that some
not anymore
shit like this could go on. Like I think with what we've seen in the past like year and a half, I'll even go back 4 years. 2016, when we saw the change of presidency and we just saw the craziness that took over. So this is not impossible. Yeah, I like Tariq. I like the family, like how he sacrifices himself. It was a powerful moment, because I think Lauren asked me last night. She's like, "What if like Riley was surrounded by lava, and she was stuck in the middle of it? What would you do?" And I was like, "I'd throw my body down in the lava so that she could walk over me and get to safety." You know what I mean? Like, and like I know with no hesitation. She's like, "What if a fucking bear was coming at us? It was gonna maul." I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why she asked me that. It was weird, but it kind of like was good because I had that to talk about. I was like, I would throw myself in front of the bear so you guys could get away. You know what I mean? Like that's what I would do. Like no hesitation. I'm gonna protect my family. I'll fucking sacrifice myself. I don't care.
100%.
Even though she asked me that after I read the comic, that's what like really resonated with me for this. Like the fact that like he didn't care. Like these motherfuckers are coming to take their shelter. They're going into a bomb shelter, and he's like, "You guys get in there, fucking lock the door." And like, but it pulled on my heartstrings when like the little girl's like, "Dad, Dad, as it's like closing. No.
You know, and it's crazy because it's like, you know, we have air filters, hydroponics. We can live down there for as long as we need to. So this guy, so obviously Tariq is a smart man. Tariq has to be a smart guy. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a doomsday prepper, although he's obviously a doomsday prepper.
He's a doomsday prepper.
He's a doomsday prepper, right? And, you know, everything's going down. And the reason why, like, he doesn't go in there with him is because we see human nature at its finest. I think this is something Jeff Johns, like, really did well. And he did it. The neighbors come down.
Did you read them as rednecks? I was like, "Hey, give me your shelter, boy." You know, like that's
yeah.
Like I heard that.
Actually, no.
I did. I don't know why.
There's a panel. There's a panel where this is after Tariq gets shot, right?
Yeah.
And you see him. They pull up in a fucking nice ass fucking Mercedes. Like this is reminiscent of what do you call of that politician? Remember when all the people came and protested, and like the politicians were standing outside of their house with the guns? This is literally what I saw. This. All
right. I don't know why. I just assumed like they got the gun, they got shotgun. They're rednecks. I don't know. I don't know why that my mind went there. I didn't look at the car. I didn't. I just saw it now. If I would have seen the Mercedes, I would have been like, oh, those are some rich rednecks.
No, they're from the richer part of Florida. That's what they look like.
Oh,
and, you know everything. So you know how everything in Florida
Republican scumbags.
Okay, but anyway.
Yeah.
All this goes down, and you know, in order for his family to make it safely and to stay safe in the bomb shelter, Tariq gives himself up. But then, like, as they're like trying to convince him, like, oh, you know, stop freaking, you know, get your dog to stop barking, and then the lady shoots the dog. I hate that lady. I hate that lady already. Don't shoot a fucking dog. You don't shoot a fucking dog.
Fucking dumb bitch.
You don't shoot a fucking dog. But then the light happens. Oof, the light. That shit was nuts. The four panel page where it's like light.
Oh, where it looks like we're reading Watchmen?
Yeah.
Like is Dr. Manhattan here? Like I was like, that's very similar. I mean, I'm not at all, but I really like the choice in coloring too there. I thought that was an interesting color choice. I don't know why. It was an unexpected, like it could have been orange, right? Like you see like a fucking green. Bomb off or green, right? But it was like had like this purplish tint to it that I really like. I don't know. I can't explain my feeling behind it. I just thought it was a cool choice in coloring. And then we get to 20 years later. So now we're in the year 2050 because this all took place. The beginning of the book is 2030. Now we're in 2050 and the world is fucking fucked up. Nuclear wasteland. And everybody has to wear a hazmat suit. And I loved when we saw the bunker, right? It's just got like I was like, what the fuck? It's like covered in all these like things, right? Like they look like cubes. And I still didn't know what it was until our boy Geiger fucking told us crushed cars from everybody that has tried to fucking come through there. And he has built a fucking wall over it. Nuts. Yeah. Nuts.
I like this. I like Geiger.
I do too. I like his design, dude. Like his chest plate too is pretty dope.
Yeah, but like you said, you wouldn't have known. I actually kind of wish they would have kept it a secret from us.
Same. But how do they do that? How would they have done that? Like because like they had the variant covers by Jason Fabok and they had the Eric Larson one. I got the Eric Larson one myself and the A cover. I got both.
Well, they could have done it. They could have done it in subtleties, you know, like they could have gave us like a picture where it's just like a hand holding one of the sticks, where you just see like the green the green like radioactive flesh and then the skeleton. But if they would have kept like the whole like costume design a secret until like the big reveal like later, that would have been dope. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like what? That's crazy. Radioactive Ghost Rider. What?
I know because like we said, like I had no idea what the book was about. I tried not to like lean too into like the plot or synopsis, and then I'm like, wait, there's a fucking guy. He's like a superhero type guy. Like now
is he a mad scientist? Is he the one to push the button?
So like not that it like I don't think it took away from the book, but I think it would have the reveal and the surprise would have been it would have hit a little bit harder when I'm like, wait, what's this dude with the hood? And then you see him glow, and then he just fucking like the entire body. It's just like, I was like, what? That was such a dope page. Like Gary Frank is like, if you want to like put artists in like different tiers, he's at the top. Everything he does is flawless. He is such a talented artist. Like, he did a run with Jeff Johns years ago on Action Comics where there was a Brainiac storyline and a Legion of Superheroes storyline. And those are some of my favorite Superman comics. His depiction of Brainiac, like, the soullessness in Brainiac's eyes came through. And I don't even know if that's a word, soullessness, but...
No, that was good.
But it's just like, he made him so fucking creepy, creepier than I had ever seen Brainiac depicted before. Right. And I think that that's another thing, like he really gets the emotion in the characters' faces like really well. And I think that that's one of my favorite aspects of his work, because you know how some fucking artists, like, you don't, either all the faces look the same or the emotion doesn't come across that well. That's not the case with him. Like, there is a page, I'm looking at the page where Geiger's, you know, he's sitting and eating, right? There's no dialogue. You just see him there, and then and behind him, all the days that he's like notched, right? That he's notched it off, that he's been sitting there alone. It's like, you can see, even with the eyes closed, like him just like sitting there, and he's tired, man. You know what I mean? And like his life is fucking difficult. He doesn't have his family. And he's been like basically just protecting them for this whole time, and he can't even get in there. So like, I'm interested to see where that aspect goes. Does his family ever get out?
There's when you're talking about the notches and all that whole scene, there's like a 9-panel shot where it's just like him sitting at his dinner table where his family used to sit, and then there's like 6 panels where it's just like, damn. You know, he's staring at a plate of baked beans, and he's just like, fuck. You know what would make these baked beans really so much better? If my family was here. Yeah. Like, you know,
all he's got is this 2-headed dog. That's all he has.
What I like about this is that the antagonist here, right? I had no idea when everything started happening with the antagonist and they showed us who the antagonist was. It wasn't until like the last page when I realized, holy shit, right? What the fuck, right?
Are you talking about Joffrey?
Yeah, Prince, the Prince King.
Oh, Jesus, this fucking little shit. Dude.
And I'm like, you're keep in mind, you're in 2050 already, so you start getting the first glimpses of this guy, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? Where did we go from nuclear wasteland to medieval times, right? Yeah. And you know, then you see this little shit Joffrey, and like one of the guys, he's obviously a raider, and he's over here trying to take try to tell him what's going on. Like, oh, 3 of our guys encountered the glowing man, right? And this entire time, Joffrey isn't paying attention for shit. He just thinks like, oh, we're gonna catch him. He's gonna find his glory, and you know, he has these weird delusions of grandeur, and he really thinks he's the prince in medieval times, like he's like thing. And then it pans out and it shows you where his castle is, and I'm just like, yo, what the fuck? Like, damn.
Vegas.
Like, Vegas.
Like, what the fuck?
Fucking
and then like
Vegas.
And then we get like all these different people that we don't know yet who they are and how they're stationed in all the different fucking hotels in Vegas. You got the Manhattan, which is New York, right? Yeah. You got the Karloff, you got all these different hotels. So I'm very excited to see what this series is going to entail, because I have no idea. I have no idea where it's going, and I like that. I like that I don't know where it's going, because that means I can be surprised, right? Like we said, we wish we were surprised about the Geiger reveal, but I feel like there's a lot more that is going to be revealed that is not even the thing that we should be like disappointed that we didn't, or that they didn't hide from us, right? Because there's a lot of stuff that's going to come out. We also, even at the last page or the back cover, we see Peter Tomasi and Brad Walker got another book coming out from Jeff Johns' Mad Ghost imprint that I guess he's doing. I know it's his production company, so I'm here for this series. I don't know. I don't know if it was my favorite book that came out. I think it was tied with Nocterra. I think Nocterra and Geiger were my favorites.
My favorites were Geiger and Green Lantern. I mean, I haven't read Nocterra or Swamp Thing, so it's like, you know, obviously this decision is flawed. But yeah.
Great books all around, right?
Yeah. No, I had it was awesome. I had a good one. This was a very fulfilling comic week.
Yeah.
Dude, the past couple of weeks have been solid. I'd say since like at least since Future State ended, there's been like a solid 5 weeks where it's been like boom good, boom good, boom good. Like, you know what I mean? I love it. It's great.
Yeah, I agree with you for sure.
Yeah, what's coming out next week?
Okay, yeah. So, Lock and Key, Sandman,
Batman the Detective, Tom Taylor.
Okay, there we go. Batman the Detective, Sandman, Lock and Key, and Spider-Man Spider Shadow. I know it's all number ones, but then if you can, let's touch on Daredevil a little bit.
Yeah, no,
I don't want to do two Chip Zdarsky books either in the same episode. But we can talk about Daredevil, and I will touch on Guardians so that I can continue to tell you how you should be reading
it.
So next week, we're going to be talking about Batman the Detective number 1, Sandman Lock and Key number 1, and Spider-Man Spider Shadow number 1. Yes, it's a lot of number 1s, but those are fucking like 3 books that I'm very stoked to read. So I think it's going to be a fun episode.
Sandman Lock and Key especially. Yeah. Like since the reveal of like the promo ads for it, how it was literally fucking the key to hell, and I was like, what? Who?
I know.
Who?
So excited. So excited, dude. All right, well, that's all I got.
That's all I got.
And well, if you're not already following us, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Comic Lounge. You can follow Dylan at The Dillbot on Instagram. Make sure you throw your comments or suggestions down below, or you can also email us at thecomicloungepod@gmail.com, and make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and hit the bell icon so you're notified every time a new vid goes up. And on that note, we're out.
Later, buds.